Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Online Endwalker. In the last episode, we continued our exploration of Labyrinthos, reaching Muriel Agronomics, which is an agricultural research facility. Began investigating to see if we could figure out what's going on down here, and didn't really learn much other than everybody's very busy and nobody knows what's happening. But we did have a little bit of a conversation with one of the botanists here about some strange flowers that supposedly change color with different emotions. And that's when we saw Aaronville, our gleaner buddy, and decided to follow him and eavesdrop on his conversation with his, I guess, supervisor, the forum member who's been giving him orders. So, Yustola transformed us into toads to do so we could stay out of sight. And we learned that the forum has some kind of grand mission, but not much more than that. So, we need to link back up with Kryl, who's apparently back here at Muriel Agronomics, and go over what we have learned and figure out what we're going to do next. So, let's get on to it. And, almost certainly, Kryl is over by those flowers. She was kind of entranced by them last time we were over here. So, there she is. What's up, Kryl?
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting.
Okay.
She said you would need it for the journey ahead.
She?
Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Ah, Hydaelyn.
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower, walk free, for you are free, to go where you wish, to believe what you will.
Basically confirming that we are not tempered. That was a bit of a concern once we learned that Hydaelyn was a primal. So we have free will.
That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness. and see beyond despair. Walk free and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine till the end, blinding and radiant.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out.
Ah, those headaches you were having.
Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread. Imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
I guess you could say that.
You can't be serious. We've done nothing wrong.
Oh, crap. We've been found out. Fortuno.
Master Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization. We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities.
Yeah, we've been pretty open about everything we've been doing so far.
Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What, then, is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Ah, yeah, Graha.
Graha! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Yeah, we were gonna have to do this anyway, so might as well get it out of the way.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
All right, well, here we are. Getting to meet the entire forum.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
You got something.
The forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work.
I don't think we've interfered with anything.
They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Yeah, and what of it?
These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large.
Yeah, we have friends all over the world, so what?
Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Is this the first time we've seen Kryl without her hood?
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
That seems to have landed.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policymaking process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions.
Interesting.
At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd.
Well, you did basically run a city for 100 years.
From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge.
A subtle but important difference.
The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
Oh?
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore.
And it looks like he was being prevented from speaking by someone or something.
Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission, not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuno, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Yeah, we have gotten a little off topic.
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, By their own admission, these scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches.
Right, and you haven't provided us any other alternative that would cause us to change our plans in that regard.
But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same.
Right. We've made every attempt to get help through the forum. Through proper channels.
Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order! Master Montaigne raises some valid points. Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlian.
Accidentally clicked there.
You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates.
Well, we probably learned all we're going to on that avenue anyway, so no real loss there.
Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences. Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
Alright, well, that's kind of the end of that line of investigation. Fortunately, our other options lead us elsewhere. Alright, Alice? Thank the gods for Scholark Montaigne. I absolutely loathe arguing in circles. And Alphino? My father may be right, that I am still groping in the dark for answers, but I needed him to know that I would never stop searching. I owed that much to Arenvald and myself. Alright. And Kryl? You may encounter some raised eyebrows, but do continue to claim the students as your sponsor whensoever the need arises. I believe in the guiding principles of the Scions, and I know my grandfather would have as well. Okay. And Graha? I apologize for the trouble I've caused you. I was pondering the significance of what I had just read as I left the restricted section, and knocked over the security mammoth on my way out. I promise to be more vigilant next time. Oh, so it is your fault. Nah. We would have been discovered eventually anyway. Alright. Ishtola. Well, at least we've been allowed to remain in the city, and our endless investigations have not been in vain. We now know that this mysterious duty of theirs began with whatever the Forum discovered in the Ethereal Sea. With our freedom so sorely curtailed, however, we will struggle to learn aught more of substance here in Sharlayan. Yep. So we're gonna need to go somewhere else. Like, maybe Thavnair. Alright, Alice. The overall picture has grown clearer, yes, but that's in spite of the Forum being so maddeningly vague about this duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Yeah, they basically tell us we have a plan, but we're not going to tell you what it is, and we're going to get mad at you for trying to figure out what it is, and we're also going to get mad at you for trying to do things that don't align with our plan. So, yeah. Okay, then. Survival, come what may, is father's work so vital that it takes precedence over his own family? Alphino, Alice, it is you. Oh, who's this? When I heard you'd been dragged before the Forum, I came as swiftly as I could. I am so very glad they allowed you to stay. Mother? Ah, their mother. Emiliance. Emiliance Leveilleur, at your service. And you fine people must be the signs of the Seventh Dawn. How lovely it is to finally meet you. Mother, please. We don't wish to make things difficult for you. If word reaches father that you are here... Oh, bother that. Might I be chastised for speaking with my own children? I'm well aware that you and Master Fortuno are not on the best of terms at the moment, but I've been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. Basically, she doesn't care. You will come by the house, won't you? I have gifts waiting. The timing couldn't be better. As matters stand, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss matters with Thancred's group and reconsider our options. Go, visit your home. We'll be back at the Annex when you are ready to rejoin us. I'm not sure we... Ayame, what do you think? Why are you asking me? Ayame? The Ayame Yatsurugi? Yes, in the flesh. What splendid day this has turned out to be. Champion of Eorzea, I insist that you join us. I must be quick about it. Not for my own benefit, but should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. Come on, man. Ayame, if you'd be so kind as to escort my children to the estate. Sure. And then she was gone, and with her any opportunity to protest. Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, you three. Alright, so we're heading over to the Leveilleur estate. Alice? I'm sure Alphino thinks nothing of it. He invited classmates over all the time, but I wasn't the most... It was a different time for me, alright? Okay. Apologize. My mother is not one to take no for an answer. Still, I'm glad, relieved even, to see her in such high spirits. What say you, Ayame? Though it seems we shall have little enough time to enjoy it, will you accompany us on our visit home? Sure. And Alice. Fine. If we're going, then let's get it over with, but be sure to stay in the entrance hall. No peeking into our private chambers, thank you very much. Why ever not? Your room was always perfectly neat and tidy. Everyone has things they'd rather keep to themselves, don't they? Cherished mementos you couldn't bring yourself to throw away, childhood toys. I mean, never mind. Leveilleur estate is that way, straight down the stairs. Come on. Yep, they're following me. Okay. So what do you have in your room, Alice, that you don't want anybody to see? Alright, what do we have here? Discuss the view from the bridge. When Alice and I were little, this bridge was as far as we were permitted to wander alone. I say alone, but my mother or a servant was always somewhere nearby, keeping a watchful eye. And now look at us, traveling to different continents, different worlds even. Indeed. And Alice? As children, Alphino and I would often wait here for our father to come home from work. It must have been a day when his meetings ran long, because I remember growing restless and leaning out over the railing to watch the water rush by. Father, of course, arrived at that exact moment, came pounding down the path in a panic, crying out my name. Well, typical father things. Alright, there's Emiliance. Can we sneak in before we talk to her? We can. Well, I won't pry. Let's go talk to Emiliance. Alright. So what's up? And here you are at last. Please, do come in. Okay, that's a lot of servants.
Welcome home, my lady.
Ostentatious.
What? What are you gawping at?
Just admiring the craftsmanship. Yes.
Oh, I suppose I never gave the decor much thought. I'm glad that you approve, I think.
Lord Fortuneau is not to hear of this visit. And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
Master Alphino, Mistress Alice, if you'd accompany me upstairs.
We shan't be long.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures. I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying. Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scion's coin and other such donations. Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid. The triumphs and defeats, the joys and sorrows. It is clear that they have come to find value in every experience. But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful. Why, since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name. 'Tis plain they care for you. and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them. Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
When you mentioned gifts, I wasn't sure what to expect.
New outfit.
Mother,
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
It's perfect. Exactly what I would have chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alphino.
Naturally. You are hardly little children anymore. And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits, I must respect the individuals you have grown to become. See for yourself.
And Alphino has a new outfit as well.
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
If you say so.
I am so glad you like them. They are, however, missing one final touch.
If you would allow me, Master Alphino.
His new liths. Becoming a sage.
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools of the trade. They belonged to your father. Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days, as a student he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless. Thus did I pull them out of storage, to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now. And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry. I am told these devices are quite difficult to master, but someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb. May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well. And please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
Maybe easier said than done.
We will, Mother. I promise.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion. Firstly, Fortuno has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work. I may not know the Forum's inner workings, but I know your father's. The timing of that change in him holds some significance. Secondly, do not seek to best your father with words. Far better that you simply show him. Let him discover the merit of your actions, after they cannot be undone.
Basically easier to ask for forgiveness than permission?
We shall take your wisdom to heart. Thank you again for these gifts, and farewell for now.
Safe travels, my children. Eat well, stay warm, and keep your friends close.
All right, well, we're off. And yes, keep your friends close and your enemies dead. All right. See what they had to say. And that was that. Only the gods know when we'll be back again. Okay. Alphino. Thank you for indulging Mother's request. I can see it meant a lot to her, and I shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. Oh, nothing too serious. Just telling her about the various things we've gotten up to. Storming Castra, fighting dragons, you know, those sorts of things. Our visit was all too brief for now. However, it will have to suffice, as will those tokens of home that we carry with us. These gifts to help us remember who we are and whence we came. With enough sentimentality, let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. Alright, so back to the Baldessian annex. And into the main hall. You think they'd at least maybe have some chairs or something in here. Well, I mean, there's a bench. And a couple chairs, but... And there's one. Yeah, there are some in here. Okay. Get everybody's thoughts. Don't think for a moment that I'm jealous of Alphino's new weapons. They're far more suited to him than me. We left for Eorzea in matching outfits, but our styles, both fashion and fighting, have long since diverged. If anything, I'm proud of the differences between us. Yeah, so I'm not even sure what she would move from if she were to change classes. She's a red mage right now, so... Unless they introduce something new. For the next expansion, maybe? I intend to master these sages' armaments. That will mean learning to imbue them with the same ether that I poured into moonstone and obsidian. 'Tis difficult to grasp the essence of such an entity. For me, it will help to think of the Newliths as allies in battle. Simply a new form of the energy which went into manifesting my carbuncle companions. Okay. Y'shtola. For us to feel responsible for the schism of House Levieur would be pure hubris. After all, we are merely on the outskirts of what is, essentially, a family affair. And yet, neither can we claim the indifference of strangers. To hear their mother welcome them so warmly was a joy and a relief. Yeah, at least they still have some family that, you know, they can turn to. And Graha? As curious as I am to learn the truth of this duty, I wonder what else the Forum is hiding. A calamitous secret whose origin lies in the ethereal sea? Duplicity aside, however, I do not believe Master Fortuno means us ill. Even the harsh words he had for his children stem not from anger, I think, but desperation. If you say so. Alright, Kryl. Enjoyed your time with the Levieurs, I hope? I would ask how the twins fared, but their new outfits tell the tale. I only hope we can help them to reconcile with their father, that they might return home one day with their heads held high. In the meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret the Forum strives to hide, and the flower bequeathed you by Hydaelyn is sure to guide us going forward. Maybe. I'm convinced that once you've scouted the situation in Thavnair, we'll be well equipped to plot our next move. Yes. We are off to Thavnair next. But we will save that for next episode. So, for now, we'll stop here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.